What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Super Mario Odyssey Team Triple Bingo Tournament Grand Finals. I'm Kirpus54. Joining me on commentary today is Zinpars. And
Hey everyone.
I hope you're all ready. This is going to be a best of three between Team Strangers, consisting of Stravos and Dangers, and Team Brime, consisting of Guy and Oddme. And for those of you who don't know how this whole team bingo thing works, basically what's happening here is you see the game feeds of Stravos and Oddme, and they cannot see the bingo board. And they are being instructed by their teammates as to what goals they need to complete and how they need to complete them. So you have a router and a runner on each team working in coordination to complete 3 lines on the bingo board as fast as possible.
Exactly, and that will allow us to see top-level gameplay and top-level routing in one bingo match.
Yeah, basically, there are a lot of people who are really good with just pure movement in this game, and a lot of people who are good with bingo routing, or just routing in general. So this is an effort to try to combine the two, put two heads together to make these, two-headed beasts that can complete these boards faster than a single person could. But there's also, that added, extra touch of people needing to be able to communicate with each other. So if you don't have good synergy with your teammate, you're probably not going to do so hot. But this tournament was a bit of a small tournament, just a little 4-team round-robin invitational. So these are the 2 teams that came out top in the round-robin, and they're going to be facing off today to see who is the best, the most synchronized bingo team out there.
And we see that there's already a small difference. Team Brime went for left side and Team Strangers went for right side, and Oddme sadly bobbed, so this will be a lead for Stravos coming out of Cap Kingdom.
Yeah, and that could just be, at this point, I wonder how much of the route has been figured out so far, because typically, I know me and you have a lot of experience with triple bingo. Personally, I generally have a route by the end of Cascade, but not necessarily the end of Cap. But with one person being the router and being able to just focus, laser focus on this board rather than worrying about their gameplay, they might already have a route even at this point.
Mm-hmm. And while you were doing the intro, I have been looking a bit at the card, and I see that there is one pre-lost route, if I didn't make any mistakes. However, you would need to do several backtracks and get all the multi-moons. We'll see if anyone will go for that. It seems pretty risky.
Yeah.
And other than that, there's only one seaside goal, so we will most likely see a pre-seaside finish, maybe pre-metro.
Yeah, that's always the thing you want to kind of look for when you first see a bingo board, is just how early is it possible to finish. But then you also, like you said, it might not be worth it to finish as early as possible if there's a really lengthy goal attached to that. But yeah, we'll see what route these 2 teams elect to take.
And the first 2 kingdoms will be pretty similar. Like in Cap, you only have 2 choices. You can grab the checkpoint and you can grab a life apart. Checkpoint is pretty standard because it loses like no time at all.
Exactly.
And the life apart is not on the board, so both of the players skipped it.
Yeah, those are like really the only things you need to look at before you get out of Cap. And then you kind of want to... You also want to keep your eye on what's in Cascade, because depending on how fast you can put a route together, you might want to prematurely pick up some stuff. But I don't see too much Cascade stuff on this board outside of 10 moons.
Yeah, and most moons unlock after this brutal fight anyway, so before the fight you can pretty much just autopilot, grab the first moon and do the T-Rex jump.
Yeah.
And Team Bride missing the fast boss fight, or at last phase at least. Losing another few seconds.
Yeah, so The first thing that when I looked at this board, I saw that 32 moons in sand, and that goal scares me a little bit. But
that one is also in the pre-lost route.
yeah, that's exactly what I was afraid of.
And combined with 24 moons in sand and the 2 multi-moons in sand, it could maybe be a bit viable, but
yeah,
still.
in that case, it's not the worst thing in the world, but 32 moons is still a lot in one kingdom. Now, I think sand might have the most moons out of any kingdom before post-game. I might be wrong there, but it's definitely up at the top as far as that goes, but still, I think there's like 60-something moons available on the first visit, so you're getting like half the moons in the kingdom, which is a lot. And sand is like just really sprawled out. All the moons are kind of, there's a lot of distance between them, so it can take quite a while to get that many moons in that kind of kingdom.
Yeah, and Otmi just missed the chest clip. He went for the chest moon instead of the cliff moon because optimally it is faster. However, if you miss the clip, then you are losing a bit of time.
Yeah, much more difficult to collect that moon in an efficient manner. But yeah, we're already seeing a bit of a route divergence. It looks like Team Stranger is going to potentially go for those 10 moons in Cascade, and Team Rhyme going to, dip out of here ASAP, move on to Sand Kingdom.
Yeah, they either don't want the goal 10 moons, or they might already have planned a revisit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because if they do need to come back here later, then it could be a good idea to just pick up the rest of those 10 moons at that point. But
yeah, there are 3 rather quick moons that are only available on revisit. But yeah, doing a revisit just for the quick moons isn't worth it. But if you need to go back maybe for the shop or the rock, then it is definitely worth it.
Exactly. So tell me here, what are, for the viewers who might not be as attuned to these bingo boards, what is that route that you're looking at that would be able to finish super early, kingdom-wise?
It would be row 1, column 4, and row 3.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it's really heavy in Sand Kingdom, like we mentioned, as well as a lot of stuff in Lake, it looks like, as you would most likely get that Lac 2 fishing moon in Lake, unless they elect to get it in Sand. But that's a post-peace moon in Sand Kingdom, so...
Yeah, and you need the 6 multi-moons, so that means Sand World Peace, Wooded World Peace.
Right. Yeah, and getting World Peace takes quite a while in both those kingdoms, but yeah, if you can finish basically in Wooded, then it might be worth it. And I'd be interested to see if it looks like Team Strangers could potentially be going for that route, as they got the 10 moons in Cascade.
Did they get the 10 moons?
I believe they did.
Okay.
I don't think
yeah, the marking of the squares could be a bit delayed because not the runner is marking the goals, but the router, and there might be a little bit of stream delay between the two of them, so the board might not always be perfectly up to date. And we see Otmi going for the sand ram strat here. Oh, he sadly misses it.
Yeah,
not a big deal.
Looks like he just barely missed it there. Just a little bit too late on the home in, probably.
Yeah, and they are also a bit ahead kingdom-wise because Team Strangers was in Cascade for the 10 moons. Which doesn't mean much, but if they have the better route, then they might still have an advantage.
Yeah, so Team Brime kind of going through a bit of a standard Sand Kingdom, it kind of looks like. More of a standard any percent kind of Sand Kingdom, so I don't know that they're interested in getting, the 32 moons in sand, but we'll see. Perhaps thinking of a trip to the pyramid after collecting the Sphinx and sinking Sands moons.
Yeah, and Team Prime did go for the Sphinx clip. Sadly, clip back in, but first try pipe clip. Nice backup from Otmi. That's a neat little backup. If you grab the moon and are too far inbounds, you clip inbounds, and then you either have to go through the pipe and do the Sphinx clip again, or you can do the pipe clip like Otmi just did, which is pretty hard if you're not used to it.
So another thing Otmi did was make sure to collect all of the coins in the Sphinx room, and that could signify that he's potentially working towards those 8 costume sets, maybe, or
purchase 5 moons.
yeah, those would be the 2 main things on this board that coins would be useful for. It's worth noting, I guess, that you can get outfits 2 different ways, with either regional purple coins or with yellow coins. And most of the yellow coin outfits that you're going to be able to buy in Bingo are going to cost you 200 coins for the full outfit. And most of the regional coin outfits are going to cost you 15 purple coins.
Exactly. And first try Sphinx Clip from Stravos. He might be going for double clip because he went straight into the loading zone. Yeah, there we go, double clip. Missing the first one. Missing the second one. This might be close for the bird cycle if he wants. I'm pretty sure he still needs the bird.
Yeah, I think he should still be okay if that's what he's looking to do.
Oh,
but actually, that accidentally clips back in as well. Just gonna have to take the pipe out because clipping back out of bounds is probably not gonna save you much time anyway when you're doing this direction. But Oddme on Team Brime, getting that Koopa Trace Walking Moon, that is the center goal on the square. So the center goal holds particularly, important power on a bingo board because it's associated with 4 different lines on the board as opposed to other goals being associated with only 2 or 3 lines. So the center square is usually pretty important. If it's an easy goal to get, then it usually opens up a lot of different routing opportunities.
We also see the runners pick up some purple coins, but I'm not sure. Or is that by now the faster route to go over those islands in the poison?
It's not faster to go over those, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, Oddme is collecting purple coins now. Yeah, I was surprised that they skipped all of them until now, but they might have already routed it in.
Yeah, it's part of the challenge of this team bingo is the router might have slipped their mind to mention, hey, grab purple coins on your way, and maybe playing a little bit of backup. But thankfully, in Sand Kingdom, there are a lot of purple coins right around the shop, so you can easily get enough to buy an outfit if that's what you're looking to do.
Exactly, and Team Brime bought an outfit, the hat, and the costume, and also bought a moon. So they might be looking for the 8 costume sets and the purchase 5 moons goals.
So I would say that column 3, since they've bought an outfit, already kind of tipped their hand there, as well as got the Koopa Trace Walking Moon, would be in their cards, but they didn't get that many moons in sand. They didn't go for the 32, so potentially looking at row 5 instead.
Yeah, did you see if they planted a seed? Because if so, bottom left, top right might be viable.
Yeah, I unfortunately did not manage to see.
It's such a quick motion that you can easily miss.
Yeah, especially that one in sand. The seed is sitting right next to the pots you need to plant it in, so it's a very easy thing to miss.
Exactly. And we also see Team Strangers marking the center goal. And it seems that Team Strangers didn't collect all 10 moons in Cascade, so we could expect a revisit.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, especially if they were looking to get a shop moon as their 10th moon. Because the shop in Cascade is only available upon revisit. It's
exactly.
One of the only shops like that. Sorry. Well, I suppose Cap as well, but Cap is really barren on the first visit. It's really meant to just introduce you to the game and get you from point A to point B. There's no purple coins, there's no shop, there's not really any moons either. Just kind of empty until you revisit it.
And Team Strangers is collecting a few more purples and also grabbing extra moons, so they do want more in sand than just any percent and Koopa Trace Walking.
For sure. So it looks like probably at minimum going for those 24 moons and potentially all the way up to the 32 total. Gonna slip in for some extra regional coins in that 2D section.
And I want to mention Team Brime's routing. They went for the boss or the brutal first in Lake Kingdom because it unlocks several new moons in the kingdom. And by doing that, they can route more efficiently around the kingdom.
Yeah, so that's the case in pretty much every kingdom. Once you achieve peace in the kingdom, or even some of the intermediate story moons without achieving full peace, will unlock more moons that you can collect in that kingdom. So particularly in Lake, it unlocks a lot, such as a couple timer challenges, the Black 2 fishing moon. So
And it's convenient that the Brutal is available from the start.
yeah.
And pretty quick.
Yeah, so Lake is a kingdom that doesn't have any extra story moons. It's just the one boss fight, and that's it. It's a very small kingdom, so just one story moon, or one story.
And Team Strauss just accidentally collected a moon that they already collected. Not sure if they wanted the 5 extra coins or if they thought that they haven't collected it yet.
Yeah, I'd say more likely that they just forgot they grabbed it earlier. But they are going to work their way into the pyramid here. A little bit of a roundabout way of working their way around Sand Kingdom, but gets the job done nonetheless. Gonna probably look to for the multi-moons, or potentially just for the last couple moons for 24.
Yeah, and Team Prime just bought another outfit and another moon. That means they're halfway done to... Oh no, wait. They have 2 out of 8 full costume sets.
Yes, and 2 out of 5 purchased moons.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll see if they look to get Captain Toad in Lake Kingdom here. Then I would agree with you that that bottom left to top right is looking likely for them.
They also got the 3 checkpoints in the lake, which is a really fast goal.
Yeah.
But they did mark it, so it's definitely... They definitely did want it. They didn't grab it by accident.
Yeah, typically people won't bother to mark things that aren't part of their explicit plan, even if they do complete them, just by happenstance. Yeah, they are going to go for that Captain Toad.
Yeah, so bottom left, top right is pretty likely because 1 moon from seeds isn't bad if you planted the 1 in sand. And Catch the Rabbit in Lost doesn't require you to complete all of Lost Kingdom and then revisit it, because the bunny only spawns on a revisit. But it's still fast. It can still be fast compared to other rows.
Yeah, it's not too slow. You just got to go through a couple extra cutscenes to basically get to Metro, and then immediately leave and go back to Lost Kingdom. So if you're doing that for the sacrifice of completing an entire goal, it's really not too bad.
Oh, and on Team Prime's screen, we see them going for the lake painting jump. It's a precise jump that you do after the timer challenge, and then you can make it to the painting platform earlier than intended.
Yeah, basically, you have to time that long jump away from the timer challenge platform so that the timer challenge is expiring, and your hat will return to you just in time for you to throw it and get the cat bounce. So a little bit of a precise trick there, but pulled it off nicely.
Yeah. And grabbing that lucky to fishing moon, pretty quick moon, can be a bit annoying because of RNG. And yeah, like the fish could just be swimming against the wall and then you have no chance of getting him to bite. But I think they got pretty lucky.
So Team Brime is just on a rampage here, marking all kinds of goals.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily indicate that they are very far ahead or even ahead at all, just because of the volatile nature of bingo when you're running 2 different routes. But they are accomplishing quite a lot in this Lake Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. And with those extra goals marked, I could see a potential route for them, which would be bottom left, top right, column 5 and row 5.
Yeah, and that would be the lost finish with the quick stop in Metro Kingdom just to get that rabbit to spawn.
And yeah, looking at it, column 5 is a pretty good column because 60 regionals in Wooded isn't that bad, and combined with 8 moons from Nuts, it's like they are both pretty quick if you know where to go and where the purples are.
Yeah, so 8 moons from Nuts that's kind of the maximum number of nuts you can do without doing any crazy tricks in Wooded Kingdom and without beating the first boss fight.
Yeah.
So it's a good number that is pretty quick to get without having to do anything too extracurricular. And then, yeah, 60 regional coins is also pretty achievable without doing any story stuff or anything in Wooded Kingdom.
Yeah, and speaking of routes, Team Strauss might be going for that pre-lost finish because they are grabbing the 32 moons in sand. They are also looking for 45 regionals and the 2 multi-moons.
Yeah. So 45 regionals in sand is something that I wouldn't recommend as a goal to go for unless you're going for world peace as well, which they are happening to do on this board. So that's a good matchup of goals that go well together.
And they're also skipping the treasure chest moon, so they might have already a plan for what to do after getting world peace.
Yeah, they could potentially be going over like to the Oasis for that that Lakitu fishing moon and a couple others.
Yep.
So yeah, we're seeing Team Strangers taking the sand heavy route here, whereas Team Brian went more for the lake and lost heavy route.
Yeah, and we also see Team Prime grabbing nuts that are not in the any percent route, so they are most likely going for the 8 moons from nuts.
They are going to try.
Oh, and they're doing the nut
here.
clip actually.
So one thing that can happen is he can get stuck in this wall if he flicks this moon at a bad angle. But he looks to be safe here, going to make it up to the top platform.
Yeah, well done. And this actually allows them to grab another really quick nut up here. And potentially another nut, which would be slow if I'm not mistaken. If they jump down.
I think with only needing 8, it's not a good idea to go for the other 2 nuts that you have to jump down off the side for. They can just kind of take a pseudo any percent route and that way with the proper number of nuts.
Exactly. And yeah, Team Strange is fighting the boss fight now, which will give them another multi-moon. And it will also give them world peace in the kingdom, which could be like one of the goals on the card is world peace in 3 kingdoms, and if they were going for that, they would already have the hardest part done.
Yeah, for that goal, getting peace in like Lake Kingdom is pretty free, as well as Cascade Kingdom. So you actually have to get peace in Cascade Kingdom in order to leave. So realistically, all that goal means is you need to get peace in one big kingdom, and they've done that.
Yeah, and Odyssey sadly died there. I'm not sure what happened, but he luckily grabbed the checkpoint, so it's not actually a big deal.
And thankfully didn't die in a way that sent him down to the deep woods.
Exactly.
Certain parts of this kingdom, if you fall off of a ledge, you will fall into the deep woods, which you cannot warp out of, so you need to kind of plant a seed and grow a vine to work your way out of there. It takes quite a long time. Definitely not something you want to be doing.
And now we have 29 moons for Team Strangers. They do need 3 additional moons in that case.
Yeah, they're looking to clean up those 45 regional coins as well right now, gathering all the ones they can around the town. It's like still 3 short. Like, get them right on the umbrella here.
And now they're probably going to buy an outfit.
Possibly just a moon to have their
actually.
total.
Actually, yeah. And they might need it for the 5 moons, purchase 5 moons.
Yeah. Yeah, so this, how many moons do they have there? It looks like
30.
30, yeah. So if they do want that 32 gold, they're going to need to gather 2 more, but it looks like for now they're going to head off to Lake Kingdom.
They might be planning some more revisits in that case.
Yeah, potentially.
Oh, for the seed.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they did plant the seed, they would have to come back for it later. The seeds do take about 20 minutes to grow. That's not exact, but it's roughly 20 minutes of real time to grow. So they'll look to clean up some other kingdoms and then come back for that seed later. And then they would have to collect 1 more moon when they come back.
Yeah, if they go through the painting, then they can just grab the moon on the painting platform.
Yeah. Which I don't know that going through the painting is necessarily going to work out, because it is the painting from Lake Kingdom that leads to sand in this case. So they would have to like backtrack to lake at some point to use the painting.
Or maybe they spent that much time in sand that it's already grown once they're done with lake.
It's possible, yeah, because they did do quite a lot in Sand Kingdom. Spent a lot of time there, and if they planted the seed right at the beginning, it could be close to done by now.
Yeah, and if they're going for the pre-lost route, then they also need 18 moons in lake, which does take not sure how many minutes, but it does take a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Just completing piece, because I don't think you necessarily need to achieve peace in lake to collect 18 moons, but if you don't need to, then it's definitely a good idea to, just because of all the fast moons that spawn because of it. So just completing that fight will take them a couple of minutes here.
And they want the multi-moon anyway.
Right. So yeah, also gonna collect some purples while they're here, potentially just for an outfit. And they also need 20 regionals in lake if they're going for that row 1.
I hope that Deep Woods visit is on purpose.
Yeah,
actually, this is how they landed down here.
There are a lot of good coins down here, a lot of good regional coins. I think there's 9 that you can collect in the Deep Woods. So if they're looking for that 60 total in Wooded, then it's not the worst idea. Oftentimes in Bingo, coming to the Deep Woods is a good idea. There's actually a lot you can complete down here, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
Oddme does seem to be moving with some purpose, so I do believe that this was an intentional visit.
Yeah, and if they want to grab the 60 purples without defeating the Brutal, then it can be pretty hard to grab all of them, so they might just have thought that going to the Deep Woods is easier.
Yeah, for sure. So they're gonna...
And faster.
They're gonna wind up with 48. Yeah, it looks like maybe they did just come down here mostly for the purple coins, and they collected 1 more moon to hit the 16 total just to be able to leave the kingdom while they were down here. And gonna look to just leave after the purples. So yeah, looks like a intentional trip. If not, then they just made the most of it by grabbing those purple coins.
Oh, and looking at Team Strangers, they're going for the lake clip, which is a pretty precise trick that allows you to grab the painting platform early, similar to the lake painting jump. They did get it.
Yeah, it allows you to get that checkpoint by the painting, as well as get down to this treasure chest moon super fast, where you otherwise would have to take a long swim through a passageway, which you saw Team Brime do earlier when they were in lake.
Exactly.
So yeah, it gets you 2 fast treasure chest moons, which 5 treasure chest moons is a goal on this board.
Yeah, and they're also, optimally, those are the fastest moons in this kingdom. Yeah,
I was going to say it is just some of the fastest moons you can get if you're using Clip. So if they're looking to get 18, then those 2 moons are definitely good ones to grab.
And Team Brime just finishing those 60 purples. Oh yeah, they finished it. And now they're looking to spend all of those purples to grab some cool new outfits.
So I think it can't be emphasized enough, just as a reminder, that these teams are, these runners are working in cooperation with a teammate who is the only one who can see the bingo board. The people who you see playing cannot see the bingo board whatsoever. They are solely relying on their teammate to tell them what to do, where to go, what moons to collect. It's a very intense cooperative effort.
Yeah, and so far it seems like they had really good communication, because at no point it looked like the runner was lost.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times with stuff like this, you might see the runner pause and stand around for a few seconds. And if you do see that happen, it's generally because there's a little bit of a miscommunication between the teammates. But yeah, we haven't really seen that at all so far. So these teams are, well-oiled machines to this point, which they're in the finals here, so no surprise there.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that Team Strangers might be going for a different route than the route that I mentioned earlier, because they did mark 2 goes in row 4.
Yeah,
And they didn't mark 24 moons in sand.
yeah, potentially even being a mid-run reroute, because I can't think of why they would want to grab that many moons in sand if they weren't going for that goal. So they may have intended on going for that goal initially and then decided against it.
Yeah, maybe.
Which would be a little unfortunate. That's not something you really want to be doing, but if you see a route that you think is that much better after you've already started, then it can sometimes be a good idea to switch.
They could still be going for the 32 moons in sand with that revisit that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's also true. They could be going for the 32 without the 24, which, you know, that the 32 moons I don't really like as a goal on its own. I typically would want it to overlap with something, but if everything else on your route is just that enticing, then sometimes you kind of eat that one really terrible goal just to make everything else line up nicely.
Yeah, also the rest in row 3, the 6 multi-moons are really long, and 20 sub-airs is actually also really difficult pre-metro. So
Yeah.
that might have made them go away from that route.
Yeah, Metro is definitely the super sub-area heavy kingdom. I think there's, like, before Peace, there's like 12 or 14 sub-area moons in Metro alone. But yeah, if you're not going there, then 20 sub-area moons can be pretty tough. You pretty much have to get most of the other ones that are available up to that point in the game.
Yep, and Team Prime is rushing through Lost. They do need extra moons here, but they really want to finish this quickly so they can come back, grab the rabbit, and then they're almost then they will be close to finishing.
Yeah, they pretty much would just need to, once they wrap up their first visit of Lost here, they would just need to go to Metro, come back to Lost for the rabbit, and then potentially go back to Sand, I believe, for the seed.
Maybe they need some revisits for the purchase 5 moons, because I'm not sure which ones they grabbed.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Probably Sand, Lake, Wooded, Lost, maybe Metro.
Yeah, the Metro shop is available right away. Oh, taking an unfortunate death there. They're going to be exploring Lost Kingdom further. They're going to have to remember to re-trigger Klepto fight, or they are going to eat a very bad loss.
They might want the extra coins here, because purchasing 8 outfits is actually pretty hard, because even if you grab a purple coin outfit in each kingdom, you will be at like 4 after Lost.
Yeah, it's super expensive, especially if you're purchasing moons on top of that. Can add up pretty quickly.
And yeah, there we actually see Team Strange just going back to Sand, grabbing that painting moon, and from the bingo board we already know that they will be collecting that seed moon.
Yep, so that seed is available for them at this point. So yeah, gonna knock out most of that row 1. Looks like they still need to make their way back to Cascade for the last moon there. But so you see them going back into the lake painting. You might be wondering why they don't just go to the Odyssey from there and then continue to the next kingdom, but they actually have to dump their moons in Lake Kingdom in order to unlock the next kingdom, or else the game won't let you progress from Sand.
Exactly, and also the painting platform is quicker than just grabbing the Odyssey.
Yeah, so they could have taken the Odyssey and come back to Lake and then dump the moons in Lake, but that painting transition is much faster.
Exactly. Ooh.
Oh,
Oddme, no!
Oddme looking like a trick jumper there, but falling to his death anyway.
Lost a bit too much height trying to go to the moon. But luckily with this checkpoint you're pretty centralized in Lost and really high, so you can get pretty much anywhere in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, when you're doing stuff like getting extra moons in Lost, or just doing anything in Lost really, it's a good idea to go up and grab that checkpoint kind of as early as possible. Because then if you do happen to die, or if you just need to work there to get somewhere else in the kingdom faster, you have that option available to you.
Also, to answer a question in chat, Team Strangers might have gotten the moon from Lucky to Fishing, but since it's not in their route, they are actually not marking the goal, since that will just confuse them and the viewers. So yeah, they usually stay away from marking those that are not in their route.
So I don't think Team Strangers has to do anything too crazy and wooded. They might be going just for the any % route, essentially, just to get them, be able to progress to the next area, because it doesn't look like their route, there's, that there's too much that they can accomplish here.
Yeah, just the 8 moons from Nuts is in their route. But that's pretty cool. Like, it's almost in, I think any % has 6 nuts?
Yeah, something like that. 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on which route you're actually going for, because with the nut clip there are several routes available now.
Right. Yeah, I think with the nut clip route it's 7. Or 8, actually. I think it is 8.
Team Strange is actually going for the clip here, the rock clip, which is a substitution if you miss the nut clip.
Yeah, generally just a bit of a backup.
Now they're going for the same route as Team Prime did, to grab those quick nuts and quick moons in general.
So Team Prime working their way out of Lost Kingdom. We'll see if they are going to accomplish anything in Metro, like getting that shot moon, or if they're just gonna take a quick trip and then immediately go back for their revisits.
Yeah, I'm wondering who is ahead right now, because Team Strangers can finish in early Lost Kingdom. They just need Captain Toad and Purples. However, I'm not quite sure how many outfits they have, so it could take a bit longer than that.
Yeah, the good thing is, and yeah, Team Prime is gonna immediately leave Metro. With the outfits, you can buy basically like 5 yellow coin outfits at the same time if you have all the coins for them, once you have all those outfits unlocked. But I think with only going to Metro, they might only have 4 unlocked, and then the rest would have to come from regionals.
I think there's 4 in Metro, yeah. And an important fact for Team Strangers is that they need to revisit Cascade before going to Lost, because once you're in Lost, you can't use the Odyssey until you actually collected all the moons there.
Right.
And it also forces you to Metro. So that will take a lot of time to go back to Cascade.
Yeah, so it's definitely a good idea to get, if you only need to accomplish 1 or 2 things in Lost, definitely a good idea to get everything else out of the way before you even go there at all.
And we see Team Prime revisiting Cascade. Cascade on Revisit has a shop now, and that's probably the reason why they're going back here. So they can buy another moon and a pretty cheap outfit, because grabbing those 15 purples isn't a big deal.
Yes, they have 16 there already. Gonna come into this dino room, probably for some coins, if I had to guess. This is one of the prime coin grinding spots in the game. All of these little fuzzy guys give you coins, as well as breaking a lot of these rocks will give you coins. You can get quite a few from just one pass of this room.
Yeah, and we see Team Strangers marking the 8 moons from Nuts, so they can soon leave Wooded Kingdom. Probably after a quick stop at the shop to buy another outfit.
I guess it is worth noting that I would consider a good bingo time for a solo player to be sub 50 minutes. So we're coming up on 40 minutes here. So with the way these routes are shaping up, I would expect them to be finished within the next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Pretty fast.
Exactly, we'll see how many coins Team Prime needs. Seems like they're done with the grind.
Yeah, looks like just needed one quick pass of that room.
Yeah, currently they can buy 3 outfits, and they seem to be collecting some more coins actually.
Yeah, with the amount of coins that they're grabbing, it might have been a good idea just to do one more pass of that room.
Oh, because they need another moon, that's why they're collecting 500.
Okay, so they're looking to spend 400 on outfits and then 100 on the moon.
Yeah. It would actually be a better idea to first buy the outfits and then the moon, because you only have to talk to the shop vendor once.
Yeah, the moon is the only purchase of the shop that forces you out of the menu. So if they would have bought the outfits and then bought the moon, it wouldn't have kicked them out of the shops. They wouldn't have to talk to them twice.
Also, if you ever want to buy and wear an outfit and buy a moon after that, it actually skips the cutscene where you put on the outfit, so you only have the moon get cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. I hear they don't actually have to wear any of the outfits, but yeah, that's sometimes a good bit of knowledge to have, just to avoid or save a little bit of time.
Or if you just want to be a bit more stylish, if you have to buy the outfit anyway and the moon.
That's true as well, yep. Alright, so Team Brime, it looks like they just need their seed and their rabbit.
Exactly, and Team Strangers just finishing this boss fight, which is required to enter Lost Kingdom. They actually didn't go back to Cascade, so...
Could cost them immensely,
yeah, that
actually.
might cost them the game, actually. Because the only way for them to go back to Cascade is, as I mentioned earlier, grab the 10 moons in Lost, and then go to Metro, and then go back to Cascade. Yeah, there's the seed moon for Team Prime. And the bunny should also be really quick, because you can just warp up to the checkpoint and then roll off the platform and right into the bunny.
That looks like Team Strangers actually does need that rabbit as well, though. So I guess it didn't actually matter that they went to Lost now.
Depends on whether they're going for column 3 or bottom left, top right.
Ah, true, yeah.
But yeah, there we have...
Regardless, yeah, Team Brime is going to go ahead and take game 1 of this best of 3, it looks like. With a quick, very quick 42 minutes or so. It's a very good bingo time. Some nice teamwork there from Bry Guy and Oddme. Yeah, with a 42-53, it looks like. Yep, nicely done. They're going to take game 1.
Yeah, and Team Strangers also wouldn't take much longer to finish. They just need that... I'm not sure how many outfits they have, or if they're actually going for bottom left, top right. I think they haven't bought any shop moons, right?
I'm not too sure. I don't know. I don't think that they have, so they probably are going for column 3. But yeah, it's they also don't have a lot of coins to purchase outfits, so I'm not sure what the plan is, but yeah, it looks like, I guess, neither team going for the super early finish, which I think was probably a smart play on this board. A good example of the earliest kingdom finish not necessarily being the best.
Yeah, sometimes you just get baited by those routes.
For sure.
Because you see like, oh, early finish, that must be good, right? But then...
it's always tempting.
Yeah, it's always tempting. But they are collecting the purples, which are in row 4 as well, so that actually doesn't say anything. But it looks like they skipped Captain Toad.
Yeah, so maybe... actually are going for that bottom left to top right. Now,
Ooh.
I kind of want to emphasize that like a 42-minute time in bingo is actually pretty nutty. Like Team Strangers is, you know, it looks like they just were like the mega slouches of this match, but like they're gonna finish probably sub 50 as well, and sub 50 is always good in my book. Just Team Brime kind of popped off a little bit with that 42.
Yeah, they both performed really well. Odmi did performed well in running, and Guy coming up with the fastest route. I'm actually not sure if it's the fastest, but it seems it's like a really good route.
Yeah, it's got to be up there as far as the better routes on this board. Yeah, that's a good example of what we were kind of talking about with putting a good routing mind, teamed up with a very good runner, purely movement wise, and some good results there. Definitely.
I'm actually surprised that purchasing 5 moons and 8 costume sets worked out so well, because whenever I go for that,
Yeah,
I end up having a not so good time compared to the other routes on the board.
yeah, that's honestly something that I pretty much always will try to avoid, but yeah, it definitely seemed to work out good for them here.
Especially since I'm pretty sure both runners are on 1.0, where...
Yeah, so there's no coin hint arts.
Exactly.
Yeah, so especially like with purchasing that many outfits and also not having a whole lot of overlap with regional coins, like those 3 goals together, or like the purchasing moons, purchasing outfits, and not having a lot of regional coin stuff, that's a scary combination, but they made it work nicely.
Yeah, it seems all the other goals were also really good, like Lucky to Fishing, Not Moons. Yeah, most of these goals are really quick.
Any of those goals that just require you to collect 1 moon are typically pretty good. The Trace Walking, the Captain Toad, the Lakitu Fishing, they're pretty fast goals in general. They worked all 3 of them into that route.
And yeah, you were right that Team Strangers did go back to Lost to grab the bunny, completing their bottom left, top right diagonal, and now they're going back to Cascade to buy the last moon.
Yeah, for those last couple goals. Yeah, so they are finishing with a 47-minute time, which is good. That's a great bingo time. Just Team Brime, like I said, popping off a little bit and getting one of the better bingo times that I've ever seen, actually.
That's true, yeah. I think that for Team Strangers, the 32 moons in sand was like the goal that hurt them the most.
For sure, yeah. That's that takes quite a long time to collect that many moons, as we said at the beginning, especially when they weren't able to find a good way to overlap it with the 24. So when you can overlap it, you're effectively completing 2 goals for 1, so it becomes a lot more time efficient.
We're seeing a cool trick from Team Brime where you can grab this key moon without actually carrying the Wiggler all the way around, which we might see in the next 1 or 2 games, because
I was going to say that
moons is actually a bingo goal.
Yep. So it looks like our runners are going to get prepped up for round 2 here. Again, this is a best of 3, so if Team Brime wins this next round, they will be the Team Triple Bingo champions. And Team Strangers will be looking to even up the score and push it to a game 3. So yeah, just gonna ready up with a fresh bingo board, a fresh save file, and some fresh mindsets. We'll get ready to go as soon as the runners are ready.
Yeah, we can also take a second to talk about the runners and routers, because some of you might know Otmi and Strauss, the runners, because they are also really good in any percent, which we have seen some tournaments of. And the routers are Dangers and Guy. Guy is actually known in more than just this game as like bingo mastermind, because he has really good routes and is really good in like mind games for lockouts. And Dangers is really good in several categories. So he has like the knowledge for different routes from different categories, and he knows the fastest moons in the kingdoms.
Yeah, exactly. So, like we said, taking the best of both runners, putting them together in one team can make the magic happen. Yeah, looks like
Yeah.
we are ready to go for round 2 here. So, looking at this board, there's actually more sand-heavy stuff I'm noticing right away. You know, 26 moons, 30 moons, so similar stuff that we saw on the last board.
Yeah, and not too much snow on seaside. They are just in the corners. So we might see again a route that finishes before those.
Yeah. So now, something that we didn't see on the last board that's on this board is the 28 unique captures. And that's a goal that, if you're looking to finish super early, is actually a really tough goal to complete. But if you're going to be going to Metro, like daytime Metro, then that's a goal that they might be looking to utilize, because there are a lot of captures.
If I remember correctly, there's 29 captures before Metro. If you grab all of them, including the cloud picture match captures.
Exactly. Yep. So if they want to complete that goal without really doing anything in Metro, it becomes super tight. But then Metro itself has like 5 or 6 unique captures that you can get, I think. So it becomes a lot more lenient if you go to daytime Metro.
Yeah, and many captures are also pretty slow because you have to go to deep woods, you have to get Sand World piece for the fists.
Right. There's actually one capture that can disappear on you, the poison piranha plants. If you complete Spewart in Wooded Kingdom, those piranha plants go away, and there's no way to get that capture until like post-game, essentially, which Bingo does not go to post-game, so effectively it's a thing that can disappear for Bingo entirely.
Yeah. And Team Prime sadly missing left side again, but having a quick backup. And Team Strange has actually skipped the checkpoint in Cap, so they already know that they're not going back to Cap Kingdom.
Yeah, that's some confidence right there. And that can come from just, you know, the router being able to look intently at this board and seeing that there's nothing possible to accomplish in Cap. Well, there is 15 regional coins in Cap, but that's not something that's going to require gathering the checkpoint.
However, there's 4 Captain Toad moons, and the Captain Toad in Cap is one of the quicker ones if you have the checkpoint.
If you have to come back to Cap for another reason, certainly. It's one of the faster Captain Toads. So might have been a good idea to grab that checkpoint anyway. I think it always is. It only costs you a second or so.
But yeah, then again, the 4 Captain Toad moons is in the same row as 30 moons in sand and as a snow goal. So they might already know, nope, we're not going for that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something I tend to do when I'm routing boards, is I look for the goals that I definitely don't want to do, and I kind of take out those rows that are associated with it and see what else I can work with, and then if I can't find anything good, I'll kind of bite the bullet and pick one of the bad goals.
Yeah, that can be a good strategy, but sometimes if there's one bad goal in a row, it could be still good to take it, especially if you can take that goal for 2 or more rows.
For sure.
But yeah, there's a lot of science behind bingo routing.
Yeah, it's all,
or just gut feelings.
It's all a give and take of the stuff that is really enticing, and the boards are kind of built that way. Like they are balanced so that, you know, bad goals get matched up with easier goals in the same line. So oftentimes you do have to just kind of take one of the bad goals and run with it, because it allows you to do a lot of other fast stuff. But that's the way it's designed. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Also, quick mention that Team Prime is already collecting purple coins, so they already know at least that they're going for that goal, which would be... Actually, is there a cascade?
Potentially just for the 175 total, because I don't see any specific cascade regional goals.
Yeah, true. That goal might seem intimidating at first, but if you're collecting like half of the coins in each kingdom that you visit, which is not too hard in most kingdoms, then you can get there pretty quickly.
So something else I want to point out on this board, there's a goal, column 2, row 5, jump rope hero. That is I believe the jump rope moon that only requires you to jump 30 times
Yes.
as opposed to 100.
Yeah, exactly. And it also unlocks after you defeat the Mecha Wiggler.
Yeah, so that's another daytime metro thing.
So not too bad of a goal. It still takes time, and
Yeah.
it incentivizes some routing possibilities, like skipping moons from the any percent route. But yeah, there's also the goal 100 moons total, which might seem like not a bad goal if you're new to bingo, because just grabbing some extra moons doesn't sound like it's a hard thing. But if you grab just the any percent moons in every kingdom, then you'll have 75 when you are leaving Metro. So if you're even going to Metro, you need to grab 25 extra moons, which takes actually a lot of time.
Yeah. It's definitely a big time sink. Where it comes into play, where it can become a good idea, is if you are also going for like those 30 moons in sand. That's going to get you what sand is normally 16 moons, so that's an extra 14 moons right there. So that can put you a lot closer to that total.
Exactly.
If you can combine that kind of thing with 5 or 6 extra moons in another kingdom, then going for 100 is suddenly pretty easy. But that's the cool thing about bingo. All of these goals are situationally good to go for, just depending on what else you have on your board. So it's like a big puzzle piece, or a big puzzle. You gotta match up what fits together nicely the best way for each board.
And the nice puzzle for us is figuring out what the runners are going for, because both of them grab the Captain Toad moons, and I think both of them grab the treasure chests.
Yeah, so Captain Toad, that has some heavy implications.
Yep.
Like I said, either going to Snow Kingdom or getting the 30 moons in sand. Those are the only possible things that can match up with 4 Captain Toad moons. So
yeah, and since there's like only one snow goal, I kind of doubt that they're going for it. And it's also in the same column as 28 captures, which is still a pretty slow goal, even if you're going to snow.
yeah, I would say much more likely that they're going for the 30 in sand, especially since they can overlap it with 26 potentially. And that column though is also, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it is the 100 moons total.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, with the 30 moons, it's not that bad anymore.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but they do still have to get quite a few extra moons on top of that. So it seems like that might be the play that they're trying to go for, but we'll see. They could also be working that 26 moons into the diagonal, and that would also mean they could overlap 1 warp painting moon with 3 warp painting moons.
However, 6 moons from music notes actually requires you to go to either seaside or snow.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how these routes develop.
See, that's the other thing. You need to know a lot of stuff about these bingo goals because, if you want to avoid seaside and snow, it's one thing to just look at the board and say, okay, none of these goals explicitly say I have to go to seaside or snow. But then you have stuff like those music note moons that it's not, there's not a billboard there screaming, hey, this requires going to seaside or snow, but you just have to know that's a thing.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 goals like these, the music notes and 4 hint arts.
Yeah, there are some other ones like timer challenges that you don't explicitly need to go to seaside or snow, but you either need to go to one of those kingdoms or you need to achieve peace in another kingdom.
Yeah, true.
So just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you kind of need to know to be really good at bingo in this game.
Yeah. Also, Team Straight went for the Sphinx clip again and got the, I think, second try.
Yeah, the clips have all been really fast, really nice, these bingo runs.
They did grab a few coins, but not as many, so they might just grab those to get enough, or like buy the moon and wood it because it's one of the quicker moons.
Right. It's always nice to have just at least 100 or 200 coins, just in case you need to buy a moon or two. So they might not have any specific plans for those coins.
Yeah. Also grabbing that checkpoint, I think that's just for safety because I don't see any checkpoint goals.
Either that, or they're planning on warping back here later to collect some
maybe.
other moons.
Yeah. In Bingo, it's generally useful to grab too many checkpoints than not enough because sometimes you have to warp around the whole kingdom to grab moons that either if you missed a moon, you can go back and grab it, or you have to go to one end of the kingdom and then to the other end, and then you are happy to have a checkpoint. Also, Team Strange is talking to GSA, which is a pretty quick transportation method, especially if you have to go long ways around sand, or if you want the sub area.
Yeah, using GSA is the only way to get into this sub area, realistically. So
yeah, there is a pretty hard jump to get into there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, definitely not something you want to be busting out in a live bingo match.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, the other benefit of getting GSA is they can use them later to travel around Sand Kingdom. He moves much faster than anything Mario can do. Even the max rolling speed, GSA is much faster.
Yeah. Now I wonder why did they go into the sub area, because the moons themselves are pretty slow, but one of them,
the music notes. Yep. So this is one of the like 6 that are available essentially.
There are also purples in here, but they haven't collected any purples yet, so I doubt they want those.
Yeah, probably not at this point. Probably was just for potentially the working towards the total as well as getting the music note moon.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if Team Strange is going for the total coins, because they don't have any in Sand Kingdom except for those 3 that were right on the way.
So Team Brime worked their way into the pyramid. Gonna go bop parry it real quick. Now was there a multi-moon goal on this board? I don't believe there was.
I don't think so, no.
Just the world peace and 3 kingdoms, as well as potentially just wanting to get these moons for the total sand.
Yeah, I think Harriet is worth it to go for if you need many moons. World Peace, however, is relatively slow.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Unless they just need World Peace for that top right goal.
Mm-hmm.
Also working their way to the backside before the fight here to grab some more purple coins. So they did collect a bunch in Cascade, as well as they have 26 or so in 26 in Sand Kingdom now, so working their way towards potentially that 175 total.
They might also be looking at 40 regional coins in Sand.
Yeah.
Which would be in the same row as 175 total.
And would also be in the same row as 26 moons in Sand. So I could see Team Brime going for something like row 2, row 3, bottom left to top right.
Row 2, row 3, bottom left, top right. Yeah, that is looking pretty good. I don't like that it has Seaside in it.
Yeah, and again, that might be something that was an oversight, or
maybe. Yeah, like just looking at row 2 and row 3, if you could combine those with column 5, which would be way quicker than going to Seaside.
Yeah, that could work too. Yep.
But then they don't need to grab the music notes.
Exactly.
So I think they...
It is possible that they simply got the music notes, or yeah, that was.
Actually, I think it was Team Strangers that grabbed the music note.
I actually don't remember now that you mention it, but if it was Team Brime, they could have simply been going in there for the 30 moon total. It's very possible.
True, yeah. If you don't want World Peace, then grabbing the sub areas is a good choice if you want 30 moons. Another thing that activates once you defeat Harriet is the War Painting.
Yes.
And there are 3 War Painting moons on the board.
Exactly. So that would allow them to go to Metro and get a War Painting moon, and then come directly back. Yeah, that's probably one of the quicker ones you could get.
Yeah, if you were planning on defeating a Harriet anyway, then definitely a good choice.
Yeah, exactly. And Team Brime will go into that painting right now.
I actually like the gold war painting moons because it does allow for some creative routing with backtracks where you go through paintings back to an earlier kingdom.
Yeah, as well as just enticing you to go for stuff like that, painting, jump in Lake Kingdom.
Yeah, or the lake clip.
Yeah, or Lake Clip, exactly.
You could even go for like the snow ram or the snow painting jump that you see in any percent. And in Seaside, there's something similar to go to the painting platform if you're going to those kingdoms.
Yeah, the Seaside one is actually much easier than any of the other tricks.
True.
To get to painting islands early. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there without actually having to travel through a painting.
Yeah. First try clip from Odyssey.
Yeah, so keeping up that streak of really nice clips from both teams.
Taking care not to clip back inbounds.
Once again, toss his hat over for some coins. That might also just be a reflex that they do that, because they would normally grab those coins when they get that moon at any percent. So
yeah, it's also no time loss because you have to wait for the moon to become tangible anyway.
Exactly, yeah. So they might not actually need the coins for anything in particular, just kind of doing it out of reflex. But yeah, the coins, like we said, they're always useful to have, especially when you can grab them without losing any time. Team Brime coming down into the sand underground, looking to achieve world peace for this kingdom.
And actually, I just realized that we haven't marked a single goal yet after 16 minutes.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes when you have a lot of these goals that are just cumulative things that you have to keep track of over a long period of time. And the fact that they are still in Sand Kingdom. They've made a lot of progress, but just haven't completed anything yet.
Yeah. Team Prime grabbing that coin stack, so they might want some additional coins for maybe purchase 4 coin moons. Because I think that's the only coin goal on the board.
And they do have plenty of coins to do that at this point.
Yep. Team Strangers doing the same. And yeah, actually pretty similar route so far. I think the only difference, or the biggest difference is that Team Prime has been collecting purples, and Team Strangers might be going for the notes, the music notes.
Right. Yeah, so it looks like they definitely could still have row 3 and column 5 in common, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some double punching action going on right now. Get to watch Knuckletech himself in the face 2 times. 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, sadly the boss fight itself is not too intense, so it's like we almost can assume that they will win. They might lose a bit of time, like Team Strangers just missed one of the punches and gets hit by the icebox. Gets hit again.
Oh, he's gonna actually miss out on the entire fade.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I actually jinxed it.
So it looks like Stravos maybe not practiced in his world peace strats lately.
Yeah, he is the world record holder though in world peace, so
that's true. He is. So he does know what he's doing, despite what you see on your screens right now. He knows how to do this fight.
Might just be a bit rusty because if I remember correctly, he has been focused on any percent recently.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, also in Bingo you don't see this fight often because of just how long it is to get world peace in this kingdom.
Oh, and he got turned around again, but this time he's gonna weave his way,
There we
get
go.
that final hit. Meanwhile, Team Brime, Odme is rolling his way over to the Oasis. So a couple fast moons you can get. And finally, our first goal has been marked on the board with the 20
At the 20-minute mark.
at the 20-minute mark.
That's
So
crazy.
we are off and running.
Yeah, do you think we will see a Captain Toad in this kingdom?
I would say it's likely, especially with Team Brime at the Oasis right now. Captain Toad is over here. You actually have to fish him out of the ground. And yep, they are working their way over there with Lakitu. Gonna grab that Captain Toad moon.
The moon itself is still pretty slow because in the Darker Side route you do get the fishing moon, but you don't get Captain Toad because just of how slow Lakitu moves, and then you also still need good RNG for the fish.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, this is something that is only available after achieving peace in Sand, so another thing that you don't see too often in Bingo.
Also, this bird that Team Strange is grabbing also appears after World Peace, and it's actually a pretty quick moon.
Yep.
If you route it in smartly.
And them having access to Jaxi allows them to grab that moon pretty easily.
Yeah, and the run is just crossed paths basically. So Team Stage is coming from Jaxi Ruins, Team Odme coming from Oasis. Doing the same moons, just in a different order.
Yeah, Team Strangers finishing up those 30 moons in Sand. It's like Team Brime. I didn't see how many exactly they got.
Oh, how many moons?
Yeah.
Ah, true.
Looks like they got 28. So they might be doing a similar thing as the last run where they come back and get the painting moon and then grab one other.
Yeah, that could be possible.
Because I would imagine that, you know, if they got 28, they probably are looking to go all the way to 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most likely. And Team Strangers actually has too many moons. So it is very likely that they're going for the 100 moons total.
Yeah. So Odme coming into Lake Kingdom, immediately coming back for those regional coins. Working ever closer to the 175 total, or possibly just the 35 for Lake. And yep, going into that painting, just like I said.
All right. Yeah, pretty smart routing, especially if you need since you need the 3 war painting moons anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is also one of the quicker ones because you don't need to defeat any bosses to go through the painting, and it's pretty much on the route.
And they are marking the 40 regional coins in Sand, so it looks like they are working their way over to the town to collect one more moon and some regionals to, top off the 40 that they needed. So a double purpose of backtracking to Sand here. Looks like that last moon will maybe be the shop moon.
Yeah, the center goal is purchase 4 moons, so that's actually pretty smart. And now they can even warp out of the shop, so they only have to watch the loading zone once.
Yep. So pretty nice routing actually from Bry Guy, his teammate Odme. Oh, stuttering a little bit on the map there. Forgot where the painting island was, but we're working our way
not
over.
a checkpoint that you usually warp to.
Definitely not.
Yeah, now both our teams are pretty much at the same spot, depending on whether Team Strangers is going back to the painting as well. But we must not forget that they have different moons and different goals to get, so it's still, we can't say who is ahead at this point.
Right. Still very early. 24 minutes in, if we're going by that 50-minute benchmark, roughly halfway through the match, most likely. depending on how
Stravos going for lake clip.
Yeah, Stravos is quite the lake clip enthusiast, I think.
Yeah. Not quite getting the setup. You have to get a really precise angle. Oh, there he goes. Oh, he missed the ground pound. That's actually pretty bad because the best backup from this is to just go with the standard 90% route. So he did all the setup time for nothing basically and lost a bunch of time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is a big time save, but it's also a big time loss if you mess it up.
It's a really finicky trick. First of all, just getting the angle to throw your cap into the corner, and then making sure that you get the ground pound in the right spot, which you can't really see the ground, so it's hard to know where you are. And then on top of that, being able to home in on the checkpoint above you with an up throw. They're all equally annoying and challenging parts of that clip. So messing up any one of them costs you the whole trick, basically.
If they wanted the painting moon for the goal, they might actually have to do some kind of backup routing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
which will be either try the clip again at a later point or do the warp painting jump that we saw in the first bingo.
Yep. Depending on what they need to accomplish, it might be better for them to just go try the clip again.
Yeah, because just defeating the brew. Oh, yeah, we actually see a cool little trick here from Otmi, where you can collect the purples and still complete this sub area fast because you can jump around this corner.
So the reason he kind of had to go backtrack further to go to the earlier point in the sub area and then go back to the flower that he already landed on was because he needed to regain his hat bounce, because you only get one hat bounce when you're in the air. You have to land on the ground somewhere to get it back, and landing on those flowers doesn't count as landing on the ground. So he actually had to go back to solid ground, get his hat bounce back to be able to make it to the end of the sub area.
Exactly.
So
yeah, Team Prime
take on
deciding
Rango.
Exactly. A quick fight, unlocking some new moons, and also the possibility to do the lake painting jump.
Yep, and that will be peace in their third kingdom as well.
True, as we see marked on the board.
Yep. So Stravo's gonna enter this fight as well. I think, yeah, because that'll also be their third kingdom with peace. So I think they planned on doing this from the start, regardless of how that clip went.
Yeah, it could be nice if you can finish on the boss fight because it teleports you back to the Odyssey.
Right.
Also, it's pretty fascinating how often those teams meet again, even though they're doing such different things.
Yeah, they keep winding up in the same fights at the same time. So Admi gonna go for that same painting jump that you saw in the last race. Again, it's just kind of standing on this platform, waiting for the timer challenge to expire at the right time, so he can get his cap bounce back as he long jumps off the platform.
Yeah, looking good. Nice. You also need a pretty precise angle because the wall extends a bit further than you would think sometimes, because that's how corners work in this game, I guess. But yeah, nicely done by Otmi.
Also knocking out their 12th moon in Lake, as well as coming down here. This is the moon that you would get from doing the Lake clip that Stravos was attempting. But it's a treasure chest moon, and 9 treasure chest moons is on the table here.
And possibly in the road.
Yep.
Also pretty good purple knowledge from Otmi, because he does need a lot of purples, so it's good to know where all the purples are in the kingdom, and to know which of those are fast enough to actually grab, and which ones you should just skip. Team Strange is also going back through the sand, painting, grabbing that moon, and going back to the city.
And something else the lake clip that Stravos tried could help you with is purple coins, because you saw Odme gathering a bunch of those purples that were behind zippered walls. And when you do the lake clip, you can actually access those little areas behind the zippers from out of bounds before coming back inbounds. So it's not only a good way to get to that moon and to get that painting moon and the checkpoint, but also to potentially get some purple coins if you need them in a faster way than you otherwise could.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. And I'm not sure what Team Strangers is doing right now, because they did grab the painting moon, they did grab the seed moon, and now they just walked around and then decided to warp, so there might have been some misunderstanding.
Yeah, potentially some miscommunication, or they're working their way over to the Moai Island.
I'm curious to see what they want here. Oh, timer challenge. Yeah, that one only spawns after peace.
No, you cannot collect that with a cap throw. Sorry, Stravos. I wish.
However, it is a key moon, which I completely forgot. So, and that's a goal on the board.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well. So yeah, potentially noticing that they needed a key moon still, and that one was available because they did achieve peace. That's another moon that's only available after peace in Sand Kingdom.
And yeah, they might have confused the timer challenge with another timer challenge, because there are 3 timer challenges that spawn once you get world peace.
Yeah.
And yeah, only one of them is a key moon.
Yeah, so the only key moons that are available are that one. There's one in a sub area in Lake Kingdom here, and then there's the one that you saw getting after their victory round 1 in Lost Kingdom.
Yeah. There is also one after Metro World Peace, if I remember correctly, on the roof with the scooter timer challenge.
Yeah, exactly. That is, yeah, Metro Peace, but Metro Peace is really not something you see. Like we said, you don't see Sand Peace all that often, but you really don't see Metro Peace almost ever in Bingo.
Exactly. And yeah, now we also see Team Strangers going for the backup for Lake Clip, which is the Lake painting jump. Ooh, that was an early jump. Yeah, that was too early.
Super early. See what he wants to do from here.
Yeah, the Lake painting jump is, I think it's not used in any categories, so Strauss might not be familiar with it.
Is he gonna go back and do the clip again? That's really what it seemed like.
Oh, actually, also Team Prime did the Lake, the nut clip, and skipped the gate.
Very nice. So yeah, you saw them nut clip to go up the ramp up top and grab another nut move in the last round, but you can also just use it to skip the gate animation. It is faster.
Yeah, and Stravos now getting the Lake clip really quickly.
Yeah, so kind of funny there. Stravos actually seeming to be more comfortable with the much more difficult Lake clip as opposed to the painting jump from the timer challenge. But hey, you know, whatever works for you.
Yep.
They do finally get that painting moon, and that is their third warp painting moon, because they, or no, Team Prime had 3 because they got the Metro one from Sand.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Team Strangers will still need 1 more. Which...
Yeah, but the one in Metro is also pretty quick if you're planning on defeating the Wiggler.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you can also get the one in Wooded, which is at a pretty awkward spot because it's so far away, and you need to defeat the Brutal as well.
Yeah, most of the warp paintings work like that, where you have to at least do the first boss fight in the kingdom in order to access them.
Yeah. Ultimately, just did the tower skip there, which is a jump that skips basically the interior of this tower. And since there's only 2 moons and 3 slow purple coins in there, they just decided to skip it, since they most likely have more plans in Wooded.
Yeah, so Most likely because they want to get those 6 sub-area moons, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, only 2 of those moons are like in a normal any percent route, so basically looking to cut out 4 moons that they would normally get on a minimalist route to replace those sub-area moons with.
Exactly. Stravos decided to go back to Cap Kingdom to grab purples for the goal in column 4. Which is it is a quick goal. However, you do need to watch the cutscenes to go back to Cap. And actually at the same time he's collecting some moons because he still needs those 100 moons total.
Yeah,
and he can purchase a moon.
Cap doesn't have a ton of good quick moons that you can collect. It can be good if you need a lot of sub-area moons, but in general there's not too many fast things you can do in Cap. But there is also the Captain Toad moon, which we mentioned earlier. They're working towards those 4 Captain Toad moons. They can warp up and grab that.
If I remember correctly, Team Strangers did skip the checkpoint, so I doubt they will go for Captain Toad.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember which team it was exactly. Yeah, Team Rhyme. Oddme looks to be roaming around collecting all the purple coins. To again work his way towards that total. Does need potentially 30 in wooded, which hasn't been marked, so might just be collecting them for 175 total as well.
I'm actually surprised that Team Strangers is going for these moons here because they are not the fastest, and usually you only see them if someone needs moons in Cap Kingdom or moon shards, which both are not on the card.
Yeah, this is definitely not something I would advise doing on this kind of board.
Yeah, they could have a plan, or maybe they just want them for the 100 moons total, because that is a scary goal.
Yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing that you could be intimidated by and potentially over-collect. Oh, and Oddme going for the flower path skip in this sub-area. Very nice.
Ooh, not something that you see every day.
Very confident with it, too. Looks like something he's practiced.
Yeah, that's also a moon that you only see in AUM or 100%, I think.
Yep.
Maybe in some other smaller categories.
All sub-areas. Unfortunately, you cannot skip the second flower path in this room. This jump looks tempting. Looks like you might be able to make it, but
sadly not.
Yeah, unfortunate. This room would be much faster if that was possible.
Yeah, we just need to find some way to walk on poison or whatever. So yeah, Team Strangers is also arriving in Wooded Kingdom now. They do have a Kingdom disadvantage, however they did revisit Cap, so they have more goals than Team Prime, or slower goals. Done.
Nice little capture warp to grab the tank after collecting the first moon in this sub-area.
Those small optimizations in those sub-areas that we don't see in other categories are what makes what separates the good bingo players from the normal bingo players.
Yeah, I mean, knowing he can just ditch that tank, that Sherm, way back on that second elevator, and just rolling to the end of the room where you can capture another one to break open that last cage with the moon in it.
Yeah, maybe something that we could say here is that Oddme is running all kinds of categories and he has really good times in all of them. So that really comes to show here with all those strats.
Yeah. So Oddme, Team Brime, they do need 2 more moons from sub-areas, which they will get from this flooding pipeway room. presumably. And it's convenient because there are a lot of purple coins right around here that you see them collecting as well.
Stravos doing the nut clip, going for the standard any percent way of it. Gets it, very nice. Even getting the fast way of skipping over that fence, so he's really practiced in the any percent strats.
Yeah, this right here is definitely his forte. So yeah, Oddme going for the regional coins in this room kind of throws you off of the normal fast cycles. You just kind of had to wait for that water to rise up. But they do have 6 moons from sub areas now. Looks like I don't know how many moons they've purchased so far.
Yeah, not sure. But they do go to deep woods, and that was definitely intentional.
Yeah. Notably, there is a treasure chest moon down here that they could grab.
As well as 9 purples.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it looks like maybe just coming down here for that treasure chest moon, and it was their 9th.
Yeah, if they want to finish in Lost Kingdom, this would be their last opportunity to grab treasure chests, because the next one will be in Night Metro.
Right.
And actually, I'm just realizing that Team Brime is really close to finishing, because they can finish in Lost, and they only have pretty quick goals there.
Yeah, assuming that they are close to their regional coin total goal, they would just basically need to talk to Captain Toad and buy a moon, basically, in Lost Kingdom, which would be very fast.
Yeah, I'm trying to calculate how many they might have. 60 wooded, 40 sand, that's 100 already. Probably around 30 in Lake, that's 130. Maybe 20 in Cascade, 150, and then 25 in Lost would be 175. So they should be able to finish this in Lost pretty quickly.
Yeah, so it looks like they are primed to take the second game, which would give them the victory. They did win game 1.
Yeah, and let's take a look at Team Stranger's route. They still need many moons for column 4. For row 3 they still need a Captain Toad, which will probably be in Lost. And I'm actually still not sure what their last line will be.
Yeah, they don't really have anything else marked. I don't think that they'd be going for either diagonal at this point.
Now they don't have any purples, and
they didn't mark the warp painting moon.
Exactly.
So yeah, hard to say what their third line would be. Yeah, Oddme having to do this Bowser fight once again just to access Lost Kingdom. And then we'll be looking to finish up there. And it's looking like probably some kind of high 40s time. Mid to high
most likely.
40s.
Yeah, which again is a really good time. Everything sub 50 is good.
Yeah.
And even just low 50, like if I play bingo, I generally expect at least a low 50s, and if I have a good board, then it's sub 50.
Right. Yeah, I'm generally also happy with low 50s times because yeah, it is board dependent. Some boards are just inherently faster than others, but yeah, low 50s, just sub 50 is kind of like that elite mark. Really know what you're doing.
And we might see some kind of reroute going on because Team Strange just marked a goal that they've had for a while. The World Peace in 3 Kingdoms. So they might decide to go for column 5.
Yeah, yeah, possibly.
They would collect too many moons and Wooded, but maybe they realize that this is faster than doing their old route, which I still don't know what it was.
Right. Something we'll have to ask them in the post game.
Exactly.
So yeah, there is the final purchase moon for Team Brime. So basically just needing some purple coins and to talk to Captain Toad, and they will be able to wrap things up. It looks like they do have enough for 175. As they have marked that goal.
Yep.
Maybe marking slightly prematurely, but it looks like they have a plan for getting those coins and then dropping down to Captain Toad, and they will be good to finish.
Yeah, time stops when they touch the moon, and there we go. 45-43, really good time.
Yeah, so 2 really nice rounds from Team Brime here. They are going to be the victors here, taking, the 2-0 sweep in the grand finals of this little mini team triple bingo tournament. Bragai confirming, counting 177 total regionals as they scroll through their kingdom lists here.
Yeah, Team Strangers deciding to go for the sub areas, even though it will put them over the required moon count for Wooded.
Yeah, definitely seeming like a late reroute for sure.
Yeah, maybe they saw what Team Prime was going for and decided, oh, that is definitely faster than what we are going to do.
Right.
And yeah, we have the router for Team Prime in our call. Welcome, Bragai and Odyssey.
God, that was loud.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, congratulations, guys, on the clean 2-0 sweep, and actually like an insane first round time with like 42 minutes. So
Yeah,
how
that
do you
was
guys feel about
nutty.
that?
Thank you, yeah. We're 2-person interviews are hard. We're feeling pretty good. I felt like my routing was pretty clean both boards. Omni played well. Yeah, I think all around pretty solid set.
Yeah. I in the first game, I definitely feel like we could have gone sub 40 if I didn't die like 3 times and lost. But
Yeah, I mean that's kind of crazy that was even on the table. I think you guys showed off what this team bingo is supposed to be about with putting the best skill set from 2 different people and combining it together to get some really insane times. It's kind of what we envisioned when we came up with this idea. So nice job, especially particularly on that first round, but both rounds were pretty clean.
Yeah, I think the other really cool thing is you probably saw a few times on me running around and then just like complete 180 to the other direction, and that's that's me like telling him one thing and then it's like, oh wait, no, I forgot this. You need to go this way.
Yeah, it's like it's the behind the scenes thing that we really don't see on the stream here.
Exactly.
I think it would be really funny to be able to have insight on the runners' calls to see what's going on with the communication between the two of you. But,
2 things I want to point out. Both were in sand. In the first game, I clipped back in after getting Sphinx clipped, and then I did the pipe clip first try.
yeah, we did notice that actually. That was really nice.
And then in the second game, I got to do Sphinx clip at nighttime. That is much easier than daytime.
Sphinx clip at nighttime, you think is easier?
Yeah, because the wall is brighter, so you have like a better visual cue.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Oh.
So,
yeah, that pipe clip, definitely the highlight.
I think on Dangers and my side, we were on the same page for pretty much the whole run, everything, but we were kind of on the wrong page.
Yeah, it wasn't the right page.
Yeah. We were on the same page though. Like that's the thing. Like we were clicking pretty well.
Okay, well, At least you had the synergy going for you. But you know, Stravos, the one thing that I thought was really funny from your run was the fact that you messed up the timer challenge jump and you went back to the late clip. It's funny to me that
Oh
you're
my
more
God.
comfortable with that clip.
I wasn't watching the stream, so I didn't even know he did it. That's funny.
Yeah. There were a couple things where like we had somewhat clever ideas for things, but we weren't quite there on the execution and
the communication a lot of the time as well. It was just like kind of like deciding between trying to route everything out loud versus giving Stravos some time to like get to the next kingdom to figure out what we needed to do. And in both games, I felt like I kind of had this 1000 IQ strategy going on, but I was always missing a link, and it kind of threw everything under the bus. I was like, oh, this route is going to finish in Wooded, and then it hit me when we were in Wooded that, oh, Captain Toad had lost. That's great.
Yeah, so
I think we might have just hacked something up.
Something we wanted to ask was, did you guys, in that second match, did you guys kind of switch gears and reroute?
We did.
Yeah.
So the original idea was
routes.
to go for that bottom left, top right diagonal until I realized 6 music notes is not possible unless you go to Snow or Seaside. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we've made a big mistake. So then we switched gears and we did column 4 instead. But-
And in the first race, I didn't realize we had to get purple coins until a little bit through sand already. But that was really the only reroute that we had to do in the first one,
Yeah.
which ended up being a pretty close race. But then this one, we also started to have a few Discord issues. We were lagging a bit, and
Yeah,
having
we were
trouble,
having a robot conversation.
Oh, okay.
But
That's always the best.
Yeah, I mean, the first match, I do want to say that you guys did finish with a good time. Like, you had like a 47. It's just, Odd Me and Bry Guy popped off a little bit. Got a really insane time in that round. So,
The one interesting thing about game 2, Bry Guy didn't know about the nut clip movement to get to the cliff nut. So when we were discussing Wooded, he was like, "Don't do nut clip." And then I do it. He's like, "Odmy, what are you doing?" And then I just go and get the cliff nut. He's like,
You got the
"Oh."
gate skip. Nice.
you learn something new every day, huh?
Exactly. That's one of the great things about being able to team up with someone like Oddme is just very cool. I learned a lot more stuff about bingo and some things that I might want to implement in my.
Yeah, exactly, because that's movement that is actually used in a lot of speedruns, some of the other longer categories, just to skip that gate because it is faster. But yeah, definitely something that you could implement into bingo very easily in the future for your solo rounds. So yeah, nicely played matches from all of you guys today. Any closing thoughts from any of the runners or routers?
This was a really fun idea for a tournament. I like when we first came up with the idea, like I mean, I wasn't really involved with the actual idea, but with the tournament, when we were just talking about like, oh, who would team up with who, I just kind of like memed in the chat like, oh, I'm gonna team up with Bry Guy because he's like a god, and then he actually teams up with me. Like, dude, legend. Yeah, this tournament, despite the finals being put off for so long, it was really fun. I definitely feel like it's not like any percent where if you make one mistake, like you really have to clutch out late game or something, because anything can happen in bingo. And when you have somebody else telling you what to do, it takes off all the stress of bingo, which is for me the routing. Like, I'm a terrible router at bingo, but with somebody telling me what to do, I definitely can play better. So.
I feel like there's a couple different ways that if we do this again in the future, we could spice things up a little bit more for entertainment value potentially, and like having the live stream show our communication, for example, or maybe even doing something like a different version of this entirely, like just messing with bingo, because this game is a really good game with bingo.
Yeah, for sure. I think this format's really fun. And I also think just there's a lot of really creative things you can do to mix things up in bingo to keep the format fresh, so that it's not the same boring triple bingo every time. But yeah, I think I hope we do a lot more bingo stuff in the future, for sure.
Bingo League at GSA?
Yes, yes. I'm all for that.
Please.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thanks for watching, people. Follow me on my stuff. Follow
Oh my
Brian.
god.
Yes, follow all these guys. You know, they're all entertaining dudes. So I suppose that's gonna wrap it up for us. In a little over an hour from now, about an hour 15 minutes from now, there's gonna be a SM64 70-star match between Cheese and Paracusa. So stick around for that, or go have a snack break or something. Come back in an hour, and we'll be back with some SM64 action for the rest of the night. But yeah, thanks for watching the bingo finals with us. Had a lot of fun, and we will see you guys later.